Welcome back to The Deep Dive. I'm Lex.
And I'm Vera from the C9 Podcast Show.
If you're an Australian business owner or you're at the sea level, you know the environment we're in. It moves at breakneck speed.
It really does.
Yeah.
And that speed, it exposes the biggest vulnerability that most companies face.
Which is?
Systems that just refuse to talk to each other. I mean, we see it all the time. Data trapped in a CRM, the financial reality locked away in an ERP, supply chain insights sitting on some, ancient legacy system.
Right. They're all in their own little boxes.
Exactly. And when these silos are disconnected, real speed is impossible.
Absolutely. So if your sales data, your operational costs, and your customer service history don't talk to each other in real time, you aren't just slowing down. You're operating with huge blind spots.
That's the core of it.
And that's our mission for today. A deep dive into the sources on real-time data integration and system-to-system analytics. We've tailored this specifically to show you how to unlock that ability to act with real speed and strategic clarity.
We're basically exploring the definitive strategic shift you have to make to break down those silos. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut. It's about understanding the architecture you need to get a single, unified view of your business.
So you can make decisions based on what's happening now, not what happened yesterday.
Precisely. Based on reality, not on history.
Before we jump in, just take a second, click that follow button and, share this with others who can benefit from this knowledge. It's a critical strategic advantage.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's unpack this. We have to start with the terminology, but make it make sense for an executive, This shouldn't feel like jargon. It should feel like strategy. So when we talk about real-time data integration, what's the real takeaway there?
The takeaway is one word: immediacy. It's not a scheduled thing that happens later. Real-time integration is this ongoing low-latency capture, transformation, and delivery of information.
Okay, low latency, so super fast.
Almost instant. It means if a new order lands on your website in Sydney, your logistics platform in Perth sees it and reacts immediately. Not an hour later, not overnight, now.
And that leads to the other term, system-to-system integration solutions. That's the how, right? The structure that enables that immediacy.
Exactly. That's the architecture. This is about connecting all your different endpoints, your CRM, ERP, maybe field service apps, IoT devices, cloud platforms, so they can have this seamless, continuous exchange of data.
So the goal is for your analytics to span across everything.
Across everything, not just be limited to what's in one silo.
And this brings us to that core conflict.
Yeah.
The old way of doing things, traditional batch processing.
Right. And what's really fascinating here is just how quickly batch processing became obsolete. I mean, for years it was the standard.
Start processing data at set times.
Yep. Scheduled, fixed intervals, maybe once a day, maybe once an hour if you were lucky. But that latency, that delay, it creates blind spots that are just completely unacceptable for a modern customer experience or for efficient operations.
So if that's the big strategic shift, why does this matter so much for the Australian market specifically?
Well, the global benefits are obvious. Faster decisions, a unified view of the business, operational efficiency. But those are amplified by our local challenges here.
Like what?
Think about complex remote operations, mining, logistics, places where operational data from the field has to be acted on instantly for safety or efficiency. But maybe even more importantly,
The regulations.
the regulations.
Yeah.
Australia has very strict data sovereignty and regulatory frameworks. So your real-time integration also has to include real-time data quality and governance. You have to ensure compliance on the fly because the penalties for failure are, well, they're high.
We've mapped out the benefits of speed, but speed can also magnify your mistakes. So before anyone jumps into a huge integration project, we really have to talk about the pain points, the things that happen if this is handled poorly.
Oh, absolutely. The sources are very clear that success is not guaranteed. You'll hit bottlenecks. A lot of legacy systems just weren't designed for this kind of constant streaming data. But the biggest danger, the most dangerous risk, is poor data quality.
The classic garbage in, garbage out scenario.
Exactly.
But hold on, if the data is moving so fast, isn't it maybe better to just move it first and clean it up later? Is that governance layer really a day one necessity?
That is a crucial question. And the answer is an emphatic yes. Think about it. When data is flowing in real time, the velocity of bad data can corrupt your decision-making and your analytical models almost instantly. If your data cleansing, your validation, your security protocols, if they aren't robust and actively working within that data flow, you risk making catastrophic operational decisions at scale.
Yeah.
and fast.
And for Australian sea levels, that's not just a risk, it's a compliance failure.
It's a fundamental requirement. Governance isn't an add-on. It has to be built into the system's architecture from the ground up.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Let's make this real. The source material had this great retail example. It really shows the competitive power of this when it's done right.
The perfect illustration. So imagine a customer completes a purchase online. With proper real-time integration, that one single event immediately triggers updates across, say, 3 key systems.
Okay, so first, the CRM.
CRM instantly updates the customer's profile. Second, inventory. It instantly reduces the stock counts, no lag. And third, logistics immediately gets the shipping order routed.
All from one click.
All from one click. And then the unified analytics platform sees all of this happening in real time. The inventory level, the purchase history, maybe even current store traffic data. And it can trigger an instantaneous response.
So there's no delay in the supply chain, and the business can react right away. Maybe it sends a personalized offer for accessories that customer hasn't bought yet.
Or it triggers a replenishment alert because that item is now low in stock that is acting on now.
So if we connect that back to the bigger picture, executives who are looking at commissioning a project like this, what do they need to prioritize? It's clearly not just about buying some connector tool.
No, it's a full strategy.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few key components they must demand from any partner.
What are they?
First, demand multi-source connectivity. On-premise, cloud, IoT devices.
Mm-hmm.
Your solution has to be able to talk to everything you own, no excuses.
Okay.
Second, insist on streaming pipelines. This means continuous flow, event-based ingestion, no more batch caps. Third, and this goes back to our earlier point, is data transformation and governance. That's your quality control, your standardization, and your security layer.
And what about the output, the end result?
Right. The analytics layer and dashboards. They have to be optimized to deliver immediate, useful insight to the person who needs it, not just a wall of raw data. And always prioritize a phased delivery. Aim for an MVP first. Get some value quickly, then scale.
That phased approach is so key. And it links directly to our next section because so many businesses, they just rush to that MVP phase. They skip the structured discovery altogether.
And it is the single biggest mistake. It almost guarantees pain down the road.
Why? What does it cause?
It guarantees pain because you end up building with massive blind spots. You'll have an unmapped systems landscape, which means hidden complexity and surprise costs are, well, they're inevitable.
I can see that.
You also get undefined decision points and timelines. The project stalls because the technical team is just building features, not the actual business value that you needed in the first place.
And I imagine the budget just explodes, especially when the initial price was just based on guesswork.
It does, which, it raises a really important question. For a C-level executive, what does a good structured discovery process actually look like? It needs to be less about technical documents and more about strategic alignment.
So walk us through the necessary steps. What should they expect?
You can really group them into 3 crucial phases. The first phase is all about strategic alignment. You have to define your business goals. What are the critical decision points? What operational or customer decisions do you need to make faster?
So you're defining success first?
Exactly, which leads to defining your analytics and your KPIs. What does success look like, and what level of latency is actually acceptable for you? Is it a second? Is it 10 seconds?
Then after the strategy, you move into the tech mapping.
Correct. Phase 2 is technical mapping. This means a full systems inventory. You map the CRM, the ERP, all the legacy systems, and every single data flow between them. You need that complete picture of where the data lives and where it needs to go.
And the final phase, the guardrails.
Phase 3 is risk mitigation. Before a single line of production code is written, you have to formally address governance, security, and compliance. For the Australian regulatory environment, this is absolutely non-negotiable.
So a good discovery process gives you a clear scope, real cost, and it aligns everyone.
And it defines an early phase delivery, that MVP, that starts realizing measurable value for the business much, much sooner.
Okay, let's switch gears a little and talk about the risks on the vendor side. We've all heard these terms like AI cowboy builders or vibe coding freelancers, the ones who promise these low-cost, quick fixes.
And they often rely on, minimal architecture or cheap AI tools to get it done. They deliver something that looks impressive up front really fast, but the sources warn that they create these brittle, completely unsustainable integration systems.
So if the risks of the AI cowboy are things like no documentation and fragile architecture, what does a reliable firm do differently? What are the practices that guarantee a robust, auditable system for Australian standards?
A reliable firm focuses on architectural discipline. It's a different mindset. They don't just use basic connectors. They build solutions using proper enterprise application integration methods, robust APIs, and a service bus architecture.
But the critical difference isn't just what they build, it's how they deliver it, right?
That's the key insight. You need a partner who specializes in this stuff, in integration and automation, like C9. We focus very heavily on knowledge transfer as a core part of the project.
So you're not creating a dependency.
Exactly. The goal is to empower your internal team, so you're never dependent on one freelancer or dealing with some opaque black box code you can't touch. We also provide a full team developers, testers, integration specialists that ensures quality and architectural oversight that a lone coder they can't provide.
So that makes C9 more of a mitigation partner, not just a service provider. But often C-levels assume that this kind of quality and dedicated expertise has to come with a massively inflated price tag.
And that's where the smart engagement model comes in. The key insight here is that for something so specialized, flexible capacity models are the most cost-effective way to go.
Like staff augmentation.
Exactly like that. It means you can bolster your internal team with the exact specialist skills you need, precisely when you need them, without having to hire a full-time team for a single project.
And the contractual structure itself, I imagine, that supports this idea of a strategic partnership.
It has to. I mean, while flexibility is important, deep integration and knowledge transfer require continuity.
Right.
So we usually structure contracts with an initial, say, 3 to 6 month commitment,
Why that long?
because that's the periods required to do the deep onboarding, transfer the necessary knowledge, and establish that resilient architecture. It guarantees minimal long-term dependency. After that, it can be month to month. And we optimize rates by leveraging a blended onshore and offshore talent mix, which gives you significant cost savings compared to inflated, purely local rates, but without sacrificing the quality or the local accountability you need in the Australian context.
So after all this, what does it all mean? The strategic imperative for Australian businesses seems crystal clear. Competitive advantage is now measured in milliseconds.
It is.
You just can't afford to lag behind with batch data flows and manual reconciliation anymore. Real-time system-to-system integration, it's not just a piece of tech. It's necessary to unlock agile decision-making across your entire enterprise.
And here's the final thought I'd leave you with. If your current system is disconnected, you are making crucial operational and customer experience decisions based on history, not on reality. The cost of delaying a proper structured discovery to map out your integration journey, it far outweighs the minimal time investment it takes to just get clarity.
You need a partner who specializes in this architectural discipline, who focuses on quality and knowledge transfer, not just quick, brittle fixes. C9 is Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer company. The logical next step for you is booking that free discovery call with C9 to begin mapping your integration journey and aligning your analytics roadmap.
You can visit www.c9.com.au today to get started. It's the first step to gaining clarity on the scope and the true cost of achieving real-time integration.
And one final ask from us, click that follow button and please share this deep dive with others who need this critical strategic knowledge. Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.
Thank you for listening.